What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Meet the Bytes. In this episode, I have the newly hired senior software engineer, Duy Nguyen. Duy, dude, seriously, welcome to Airbyte. This is
Hello,
exciting.
hello. Thank you. I'm happy to be
If
here.
you could please tell everyone that I've been treating you very well and that I am the most amazing Airbyter you've ever met, that'd be amazing.
Uh, I'm not sure if I can. No, I'm kidding.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Yo, welcome to the company, though. Welcome to the
Thanks, man.
company. It's cool because I get to interview someone who's new to the Airbyte. So you're in the honeymoon stages still, and I'm still in my honeymoon stages a year in, and I still love it. So hopefully you feel the same way.
You're fine. That's a good sign.
Yeah, no, I definitely love it here. But welcome to the company. So for people who don't know who you are, all right, again, you're a senior software engineer here at Airbyte. You've been here for approximately close to 2 months, right? More than a month now.
Me?
Yeah.
No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Wow, you
This
are
the-
fresh.
It's like the end of my second week.
Oh, you are fresh. Okay, well, okay, your first 2 weeks. Okay. So, all right. So they know you're a senior software engineer, but what exactly do you do here at Airbyte? I know you're still onboarding.
Yeah.
But go ahead and tell them.
So I think the best way to describe it from what I know anyway. So it's basically like Airbyte, we're like open source connector for database syncing, right? So
You're on the
there-
sources team.
I'm on the sources team. So there's like the sources side, there's the destination side, right? So like where you read from and where you dump data to.
And
I'm
cloud, right? And cloud as
on
well.
the area that I'm on the sources side, but specifically the database sources side. So whether it's right now, from what I know, is Postgres and MySQL are the two biggest ones.
Postgres, yes. Yeah, Postgres. I just got my Postgres talks accepted at Postgres conferences
Nice.
throughout the US, so I'll be traveling a lot. So that's amazing. All right. So how's your first 2 weeks been here at Airbyte?
It's been good. I think it's my first.
And don't worry, the CEOs are watching. The co-founder and the CEOs watching. Don't worry.
No, it's been good. I think it's the expectations I had of going into a new company, like a smaller size company than the ones I've had in the past. Yeah, it's been good. I'm just consistently amazed at one, how nice everybody is, and two, how much they enjoy their work.
Yeah.
And passionate about what they do, and they're just all really smart. Like that's exactly what I'm looking for. And yeah, I can't state that enough. How nice and smart people are here, and so far, I'm really enjoying it.
Everyone's very smart here. It's pretty amazing.
Very intimidating. It's very intimidating. I could feel the imposter coming back already. Like it's pretty bad. It's still there, but I feel like it's getting more now.
It never goes away, though, right? It never goes away, but sometimes it comes back stronger than ever out of nowhere.
Yes.
Yeah, no, trust me, I know how you feel. You know what? Before I have a lot of questions I want to ask you about what you do here. But before that, though, for the people who don't know you, what's really interesting is that, okay, you have your bachelor's degree, right?
Yes.
But your bachelor's degree is in molecular and cell biology with an emphasis in cell development. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, you graduated. You got your degree in 2015.
Yeah.
And yeah, you don't work in that field anymore. So what? I don't think you work in that field. That's not what we do here at Airbyte. Not that I know of.
Yeah.
So how does that happen from, working something in biology to now becoming a software engineer?
Okay, so I think just back up a little bit. So I went to school for bio as a pre-med. And then like towards, I've always
As a
wanted.
pre-med.
Yeah, so I've always had going into becoming a doctor, going to med school and all of that. So I went through 4 years of undergrad, doing all your traditional pre-med things, right? Like your pre-med classes, like doing research, going like volunteering at hospitals, and then I even took the MCAT, right? And did all of that jazz. And then towards the end of my college career, I realized like I don't think I want to do this. And
hold on, what do you mean towards the end? Like how many years until you?
So I graduated. I mean, like straight up by the time I graduated, I knew something like this is about like May of 2015, like right around the time I graduated. I was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And then like so before I graduated, I was recruiting for trying to find a job. So before I graduated, right, just so that I had something by the time I graduated, and I was lucky enough to get like an offer at a consulting firm where I basically worked in healthcare consulting for about a year and a half. Because I went to consulting because that's what people do when they don't know what they want to do with their life, right? So I did that.
Everyone uses the word consulting. You look at the LinkedIn, everyone's done some type of consulting.
Yeah. So I did that for a year and a half, and I absolutely hate. I did not like it. And a part of my job there was like basically wrangling around with like Microsoft Access, which is like a less managed version of MySQL.
right? And I
Yeah.
did that, and I realized I enjoyed that part of my job more, and I was like doing a lot more of that. And then like, okay, this is I
So
really need.
what wasn't that you didn't like about it though? Like what was
Uh,
that you didn't like about continuing to pre-med, becoming a doctor or whatever you were trying to do? Sorry to interrupt you. Your girlfriend just finished and
Residency.
she's a doctor now.
I don't know.
Gets
Yeah.
paid very well
Yes.
as well, right? So
Sure.
yeah, just to bring it up, so even your girlfriend works in that field. I'm assuming you met your girlfriend in college, by the way.
I
She's a
did.
doctor.
So I met
Wow,
her.
I'm so
Yeah.
good at this.
Yeah. We didn't go to the same college actually, but we met at
Oh,
the
okay.
internship at the University of Virginia. That's like another pre-med internship that I did. I did that like over at University of Virginia, and then that's where we met. This is like summer of 2013. And then she went to school on the East Coast, and then we stayed in touch, and yeah, that's
Wow.
how it happened. So like right now, like I said, all of my friends pretty much are all doctors, or
All
like
doctors.
or what's in pre-health in some
You're
field.
the only one at this option. I'm
Yeah.
Filipino. Everyone in my family works in the medical field. I'm the only one who's a software engineer. So, I totally know how you feel. Okay, so sorry I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just thought that's an interesting point to bring in. So, what is it that you didn't like about it?
So I think during the times when I was like spending time in the hospital and then shadowing doctors and things like that, and I was shadowing like anesthesiologists. Like that's what I want. And then I realized it wasn't
Ooh.
for me. I couldn't see myself doing this every day, and
Yeah.
I knew I didn't like it enough because I feel like I could be a
Good doctor, but if I didn't like it enough for me to spend the extra time and effort for me to be good at it, and I wasn't gonna do anything that I know I wasn't gonna be good at because I didn't like it enough. So I decided like this is not for me. So I need to pursue something that's will like scratch my intellectual itch, and then at the same time like
Wow.
wake up
To
every
scratch
morning.
your intellectual itch in med school wasn't enough. That's very interesting.
it's a different kind of itch. It's a different kind of itch.
It's really interesting. And so okay, so pre-med didn't work out. You didn't like it. You knew it wasn't for you, and then you transitioned from that into getting your first tech job at Twilio.
Yeah. It's
How does
it's a
that
long.
work?
Okay.
No computer science degree.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Your
I
first
think
tech job's at Twilio.
yeah. So I think it was like all a whole series of like luck, and then by the time that the luck came, I was like prepared. So fast forward like backward to about like 2016, like winter of 2016. That was around the time where I left my first job, and around that time I was kind of like lost. I graduated, and I knew I didn't want to go to med school, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I want to do with my life. And then I was hitting up one of my friends back in college, and it comes like, hey man, I want to learn how to code. Like, how would you go about this? And because like, I grew up in Silicon Valley, right? I grew up in San Jose, around like all these tech
San
companies.
Ho.
Yup.
Mhm.
Like, being around all these tech companies all the time. Growing up, I've always been interested in like computers. Like that's like all my friends know me as the guy who's like always been. I built my friends' computers and things like that
Yeah.
growing up, and all that stuff. Like I love it. And so I talked to one of my really good friends who I met in college, and I was like, hey, I want to learn how to code. And he was telling me, he was like, okay, you can either do the whole self-taught route, or you can do this whole like bootcamp route. Because my brother at that time, he went to a data science bootcamp, and by the time that I started learning how to code. He already got a job offer as like a data scientist.
Nice.
So I was like, okay,
Nice.
I heard about this whole bootcamp thing. He went to journalism.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this whole bootcamp thing, it worked out for him. And I'm like, all right, well, let's look at bootcamps. And the two big ones at the time was like App Academy and Hack Reactor. And then I applied to both, and I didn't get into App Academy, and I got into Hack Reactor, and that was I guess the rest is history. So that was December. I got in January, and I started in February of 2017. And then that ran for 5 months. And then, and then also during that time, I was applying furiously, and I got lucky that I got an offer at Twilio.
So weeks after you graduated from coding bootcamp, you got a job at Twilio.
Yes. So that's the whole like lucky thing that I was telling you about. So like during that time, Twilio just released their first iteration of a software engineering apprenticeship. That's just my first foray into tech. Because I knew, of course, during that time, I had offers from other companies as well. But I wanted to go into a place where I knew that, hey, I'm dumb, I don't know what I'm talking about, so please teach me. So like that's when Twilio's first class of apprenticeship came out, and then I applied, and the process was actually very similar to your traditional software engineering interviews, like 2 technicals and like your what else, 2 non-technicals and stuff like that. So it's very, very similar. So I
Wow.
did that, and the apprenticeship is a 6-month internship where you basically spend the first like 6 weeks or like
Is it
8
paid
weeks.
internship?
Yes, it is paid. You get paid as a an intern. So it was my first taste of like getting paid the
Decent
technically.
pay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I
I mean,
mean.
internships still
Uh,
pay very well.
oh, very, very.
Yeah.
Well, a lot more than what I was making before too, for sure.
Mhm.
And then I did that, and like 6 months, and then it's like internship to hire kind of thing. So I did weeks working with your cohort mates on some project, and then the last 4 months is when you get integrated into your product team, and
Mhm.
you work on features very similar to as like a software engineering intern. And then towards the end, they decide whether or not they want to give you an offer, and I was lucky enough to get a return offer, and that's where I've been. That's where I was
Wow.
for 4 years and 9-10 months or something like that. So almost 5 years.
That's amazing because back in whatever that was 2017,
Yes.
that's when the stocks were growing.
Yeah,
So
I
you
know.
joined at
Yeah.
the right time. You went from, you know what, screw med school. You know what? I want to learn to code. Let me ask my friend. Got rejected from one boot camp. Went to this other boot camp. Once I finished a boot camp, a couple weeks later, I get an internship at Twilio. I pass that internship. I do well. Get an offer. That
I mean, see, that's the thing I don't
That's
really, like,
amazing.
talk about because it's not like a normal.
that's not normal.
Not normal, and
But
it's
just
not
because
like,
it's not normal doesn't mean it's not. I mean, it doesn't make it any less amazing though.
oh,
right?
for sure. I don't want to talk about it mainly because like when people come and ask me like, "Hey, I want to become a software engineer" and stuff like this, and like, "Oh, tell me what the timeline you went through." I was like, "I can't say this.
Oh my!
I can't give them bad experience." Like,
No,
no,
my
it's true.
timeline of how I became a developer in 3 months. I kind of wish I never told people that story because that's not normal as well, right?
No, it's not normal. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like back to your point, like that video is the reason why a lot of the reason why I'm here too. So
That's crazy. You told me about that. That a video from I was just when I made that video, I was just at Fullerton State University, whatever, Cal State Fullerton, right? And I was just with my girlfriend down. She was at college. She was attending college there, and I told her, you know what? I want to try to make a YouTube video. She just filmed me, and I decided to share that story, like how you have your story and you're sharing it now. So that's crazy to see where you are now. So that's amazing. That's really
cool, yeah.
amazing.
it's cool to see your story too because I've been following your journey the entire time as well. So yeah.
No, I appreciate that. No, but I mean, just to see where you are today is even more exciting because you're a senior software engineer here at Airbyte. So, okay, let's go back to Twilio. You were there for 5 years. You went to it looks like a Web3 startup. Is that
Yeah,
am I right?
the most recent Web3 startup.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we all know what happened, but no, I love my experience there though too. So it was like a good team.
Totally different technologies, right?
technology-
Different world.
Yeah, and then I think it was a good because I've been interested in like Web3 because you hear things happening, like really hot things happening in like 2020 and 2021.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, let's try to get my feet wet into this. And yeah, I did that for about like 8-9 months. And I mean, the market wasn't great, so things didn't work out. But
Yeah.
wish that here though. So I'm really it's like blessing in disguise kind of thing. So I'm glad I'm here.
So I'm curious. You left the Web3 company here at Airbyte. How was that, right? So you're interviewing, right? You mean right now, and you joined us 2 weeks ago. So I mean, within the last couple of months, everyone knows what's going on in tech, all these different layoffs.
Yeah.
You got a pretty decent job here at Airbyte, by the way. How was that? How was that process? From how did you hear about Airbyte, right, to the interview and etc. The recruiter reached out to you. Like how did you get here?
Oh, so I think like when I was looking for companies, when I'm like earlier this year, January 2023, just like looking for companies, and I think I was really interested in. I was learning a lot about data and things like that, and a lot of companies I was looking at, they just happened to be the ones that I found interesting. Just happened to be in data space, and it just by chance, honestly, because I never, and also a lot of the job description had a lot of like the experience that I had at Twilio, so I'm like, okay. It would give me a higher chance of getting an interview and things like that. And Airbyte specifically because I knew 2 people here. One of them I used to work with in the past at Twilio, and the other one I went to bootcamp with. Yeah.
What? I did not know that.
Yeah, but we can talk about that later too.
Okay.
I don't want to like expose him right now, but either way, but yeah, I
amazing.
with Twilio in the past, and one other person I met.
Who referred you?
Ryan.
Who got the referral? Okay.
Yeah. So it's and then basically, so he worked at Airbyte, and then another classmate from Hacker of mine. So he actually went to Andy. He actually went to After he went to Segment, and then after that, when Twilio bought Segment, we kind of crossed paths a little bit, and then yeah, so like that the Airbyte name, I've seen like people on LinkedIn and things like that. And I looked into it, and it just looked really interesting, and I just like put my name in the hat, and I got the referral, and here we are. And I was
recruiter
lucky.
reached out to you.
Yeah.
Wait, who was the recruiter that reached out to you?
Ron.
Ron. Okay.
He's
Awesome.
great.
Awesome. No, yeah, Ron's amazing. That's pretty cool. So, okay, and I've never asked this from anyone else's journey from where they are to here to everybody. But now, how is that the interview process? How is the interview process, the technical interviews? Because I'll tell you this: when we're hiring, we want to find the best engineer. So the fact you got hired as a senior software engineer here, congratulations, is amazing.
Thank you.
Right? Shows your skill set. You have an amazing skill set, right? And so, okay, how is the interview process? How
The interview process
how
is pretty standard, but it's a lot less. It's a lot more condensed compared to the other companies. They don't put you through like the ringer or anything. Like other process, you can see it on the Airbyte website. It's pretty open, and it was really good because although don't get me wrong, the questions they were pretty hard. They were hard questions. Don't get me wrong, but like the way that they went about it, the interviewers always made me feel comfortable. So let's say, for example, like the questions, they start out pretty easy, but then their ability to turn up the heat, even after you've already built some confidence, getting the easy part out. Like that's my favorite part about this whole interview. And like the questions they asked, even though this is 1 hour a piece for the quote unquote on-site portion, only 1 hour a piece, I feel like we were able to get through a lot of things that I was able to interview the company as well as they were interviewing me. It's like I get to see how these people would be like if I were to work with them and vice versa. And the different types, and then the conversations we had in like the design section, tells me about like, oh, these are different challenges they're facing and things like that. And yeah, I think I just got really good vibes coming out of it. Even though the interview, I honestly would say was like my top 3 in terms of difficulty.
Really?
I interviewed at a lot of places this past season.
In this market, no, definitely.
Yeah, no, it was great. Like the interview process was the reason why. One of the bigger reasons was why I joined.
Really? Because it was so difficult.
No, it's not difficult. Well,
Okay.
of course, not because it was difficult. It was because of like I had a good feeling going into it. Like even one of those things where even if I didn't get an offer, I would still think of Airbyte highly, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's impressive. Well, I appreciate that. I'm happy to hear that as well.
Yeah.
And okay, so you do the interviews. How long did it take you to receive the offer after the interviews?
I think it was around from first contact with Ron to the day that I got an offer was like 2.5, 3 weeks. They moved really fast because I told them like, hey, I had like, of course, like offers were coming in. I got like, hey, you got to make this quick because I can't just leave this offer on the table without having something sure in hand. And he really made sure that I got what I needed. Yeah, so like they were very, very fast, like basically like replying to me, replying back to my emails like literally right away kind of thing. Like that says a lot. So
No, definitely.
yeah, because like they're all busy people and it means they care. So yeah, it was a really, really painless process to be honest. So it was really, really good.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I'm happy to hear that. And so now you're here at Airbyte, right? How has that been? I didn't tell you any of this in advance, but like how's the culture been for you? So that's the one thing that I talk about all the time. The culture here is pretty amazing, right? And how has that been for you?
It's been great. I mean, so like I think I told you this before as well. So like I love my time at Twilio, right? Like when I first joined, we were I think like sub 300-400 people or something like that, and then
And how many people are there at now? Or when you left?
But by the time I left, it was like over 5,000. It could be more.
Wow. So
I was there for that entire like growth, right?
Wow.
Listen, when I first joined, I love like people were there. I knew it. Like I felt like I knew everyone. Everyone there was like very, very smart, super talented, and like once again passionate, and they care about what they do. And they're just nice people, right? So like very, very simple things that just talk to you about. And it was, and I got that vibe I got that vibe again when I first joined here, and that's like a good thing, like a really, really good thing. And I'm like, okay, like it's always been good, and the people are, I'm gonna be like keep repeating this, but the people are just so nice. Like I didn't feel like anyone was trying to like trip me up or anything. You know what I mean? It's like everything. Like if I ask a question, they never let me know that I'm bothering them or anything, right? So like and for a company that's full remote, that's really good.
And the remote part. What I really love about it here is just everyone has, we need to take ownership of all of our responsibilities given to us. And that's it. You get all your work done. That's what's important. You do your work well. You work hard. And then yeah, I mean, remote life here has been amazing. We started remote. It's here to remain. So, and there's another question I want to ask you. For everyone trying to get into this field as well,
Mm-hmm.
from being a doctor, or sorry, what were you trying to be again? You were trying to become
Anesthesiologist, but yeah.
anesthesiologist, software engineer, right? Reality versus expectations.
Yeah.
What did you think being a software engineer would be like, and what is it really like?
Honestly, I went into the whole software engineering journey without really thinking about that. If that sounds weird, because like I knew that software engineering is something that I wanted to do. Like I wanted to build things, right? I didn't really
Yeah.
think too much about like what my day of the life is going to be like. All I know is I'm gonna be working on stuff. So I think
Yeah.
I came in with like a very clouded mind of like not knowing what it really looked like. But all I know is I have friends who work at the big companies, and they tell me this is what they do. And like
Yeah.
I'm sure I would go on YouTube and then like find videos like day in the life of a Google engineer, or day in the life of like a Facebook engineer. But I saw that like way later. I didn't really watch that when I first get into it. Like,
Wow.
I stayed off of Reddit. I stayed off like CS career questions.
So
like,
why did you become a software engineer?
I became so much because I knew that's like building things with software is what I want to do. Like creating software is what I want.
Wow. So
I
you
just
were
enjoyed coding.
genuinely interested.
Oh yeah, in
Wow.
the work. Like I didn't care too much about or at least like they didn't think about it too much about like the day in
Yeah.
the life. It's just like I just want to build stuff because like I
No,
got
that's
hooked when I
impressive.
was studying for the pre-course kind of thing. I was like, oh right, all
Yeah.
these things are so cool. Like automating
Yeah.
all these things is so cool. So I was in it for the actual craft of making software.
That's impressive because when I first learned code, I didn't like it the first 2 months because I didn't know exactly what I was doing. But when I built my first project is when I finally started to fall in love with it. So it took me time to like
Okay.
actually love it. Now I love it. Wow, but that's whew, that's impressive. You are definitely an interesting person.
No, because
No.
I mean, like on top of that too, like so in high school and like I did marching band and like I did also like the quote unquote professional marching band. It's called drum corps in the
Yeah.
summer. So like one of the instructors, they always says like you need to fall in love with practice. You need to fall
Yeah.
in love with things you do. Like it's not like you practice for shows. Like shows or performance should be like a run through or like practice. So you need to fall in love with practice. So that's why I'm like, if I want to do this whole software engineering thing, I need to fall in love with coding.
You
I need
do.
to fall in love
Yeah.
with reading documentation, like learning new things, right? So like I wanted to make sure that that's the thing that I love, not
Yeah.
the facade of being an engineer. It's like you have to love
Definitely.
the actual work. So that's why I really focus.
I 100% agree with that. I mean, that's why I'm in DevRel. Right? I love writing code. I love solving problems. I also like creating content. I love speaking. I like the attention, right? So speaking at these conferences and these meetups are amazing. So being in DevRel is perfect for me. And you have to love what you do. It's very true. I agree with that. I agree with that. That's amazing. All right. So this has been amazing. Is there anything you want anyone? Just you've been here for 2 weeks, so you're fresh. You're
Yes.
fresh. So anything you want to share with anyone interested in joining Airbyte or anything in general that you want to share right now?
Okay, last words. I think with joining Airbyte, I think it's just one follow all like the YouTube content because I think that's also a good way foray for me view into the company. Like this, I watched a lot of the videos when I was interviewing and trying to decide where I want to go and
Nice.
stuff like that. And I think if you're looking for a place where once again people are super smart, full remote, the people love what they do, and it's like basically a rocket ship, I think just go for it. Just really go for it because people here. My team, for the most part, like I mean, not for the most part, my entire team, everybody is a heavy hitter for sure. Like everyone's very good at what I do. I'm like very intimidated, but I know I'm gonna learn a lot. So I
And
think
everyone's very nice.
yes.
nice.
Sometimes it's kind of like weird. It's like
It's
I'm
kinda
not used to
weird,
this.
isn't it?
I'm not used
Right?
to
Isn't
this.
it kinda
What's
weird?
going on? Yeah.
I've worked at quite a few companies, and when we had our gathering in San Francisco last year, and then in Mexico, and then we met in London, you name it. Everyone's nice, and it's like really these are the people that we actually get to work with, which is it's amazing.
No, it
pretty
is.
amazing.
It really is, and like super distributed. At least my team is super distributed as well. Like we have people in Europe, we have people in like India, and then some people I think in the East Coast as well as the West Coast, and their ability to work asynchronously, but at the same time still moving the needle on like the feature work and all of that. Like that's it. It takes like a certain group of people to keep the culture running as smoothly as it is, because
Yeah,
everyone
no,
used
I
to.
agree.
Like you said, like one of the tenets of our company is like CEOs of your own project, right? So
CEO of your own
like
project,
everybody really take that to heart. I feel like so like no one really needs to like follow up with you like, oh, is this done yet? It's like no, they take the onus is on them to
to show like, oh, this is my progress and things like that. So make things a lot easier to work remotely.
Definitely.
And no one ever like takes more than, I don't know, 6 hours to get back to me with like a question or something, right? Like that's that's pretty good. That's actually really good.
And building friendships. For example, you and I will be playing Counter-Strike this weekend. So
oh yeah, man,
I not be bad.
So, yeah,
I'll be
really bad.
Expectations.
So, yeah, no, it's gonna be real bad. At least we'll lose together, so it's fine.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll lose together. We win together. Oh gosh, here we go. No, just joking. But hey, Duy, I really appreciate you. Seriously, just joining this and being on here. You have an awesome personality, really cool to talk to. And this wasn't expected. We just talked yesterday, or was that a couple days ago?
Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, we just hit it off, and I'm like, you know what? I know you needed the company, but you want to be in this interview because you have a really cool personality. So
thanks, man.
I really appreciate it. Cool.
For sure.
All right.